Welcome back to season 2 of the Katie Wellness Show. I am back with more amazing tools, awesome interviews, and some great discussions to help you optimize your health, body, mind, and spirit. Not only can you use these tools every day, you can also teach them to your children and to your family members so that you can raise emotionally and physically resilient children, so that you can show up more in your life, that you can take back your personal power. Get ready to tap into your intuition. I'm so excited that you're here. You are worthy of health and of joy and of thriving in your motherhood, thriving in your life. Thank you for being here today. Hey, welcome to the Katie Wellness Show. Jodi, will you introduce yourself?
Yes, I'm Jodi. I'm CEO and co-founder of Green Goo by Spry Life, and we make plant-based first aid and personal care products.
That's awesome. And as we've been talking through email, I love finding products for moms to use in their toolkit that are more natural, but that still work. So I really appreciate your dedication to the Green Goo. Can you tell me um, the reason why you started this product? Probably was like you saw the need in your own family, but what kept you going?
Oh my goodness, so many things there. So I got my master's in health psychology and specialized in psycho-neuro-immunology and was pre-med and was actually training resident physicians on the biopsychosocial model. So what does that mean in practice? I wanted to change medicine. I wanted to improve that process instead of just prescribing, really looking at the patient as a whole so that we could have a greater impact on whatever intervention needed to happen. And psychoneuroimmunology was very much new frontier, but identifying that there was a relationship between your nervous system, your immune system, and your psychology. And I really appreciated this intersection of new disruptive science. And then my sister's an herbalist and a midwife. And so we had this beautiful blend of sort of like Eastern, Western medicine. And I was pregnant at the time, and I got a cut, and I went to go put on like a Neosporin, and I started reading the labels, and I was like, ew, I don't want to put this on while I'm pregnant. Matter of fact, I don't want to put this on my child. And I found it really interesting because here we were eating healthy foods and reading the labels, but I had not considered my first aid. I'm like, why do I feel like that only chemical products can get the job done? And then I found out we weren't alone. The natural consumer was willing to abandon their natural ethos because they were told that these one-time chemical use solutions were the only ones for your over-the-counter first aid. And then I discovered that chronic skin conditions are at an all-time high. And the conventional consumer was also dissatisfied with first aid. However, they were less interested in the ingredients. They wanted something that performed better. Use 7 to 10 days. And if symptoms persist, which they often usually did, you had to go see your physician. So my sister and I were like, what if we can make a superior solution with the best efficacy on the market, but then also it's plant-based and it's sustainable? So Green Good was born.
I love that story, and I love the blending of the Western and Eastern, the herbs and the science behind it. And at some point, you sold this company, right? And then ended up buying it back. Will you tell me a little bit more about that journey for you?
Yes. So oh my goodness, we went from making this in our kitchen and growing the herbs in our backyard to farmers market to growing into national retailers and over 150,000 points of distribution in less than 5 years. It was just growing leaps and bounds. And then the pandemic happened, and we were a business that was mostly in retail because if you had poison ivy, you went to your local pharmacy and you got your solution. There wasn't Amazon the way we shop today. And so we never thought of having an online business. And when the pandemic happened and no one was going into stores anymore, I mean, our business just went to a complete halt. And so our team pivoted so beautifully. They did an amazing job to build an online model. And of course, everybody was trying to do that at the time. So it wasn't easy to build that infrastructure. And I was so worried we were going to have to fire our team. And we were able to get through that without terminating a single employee. And that felt really good. And when I was sitting in reflection, I recognized that we couldn't weather another storm like this. A lot of companies didn't make it, and the big companies are really well financed. They can insulate the risk, and they are the biggest companies in the OTC space. And so we started looking for a financial partner. And the idea wasn't to sell the company, it was just to find financial resources. But ultimately, what became the right fit was a company where they were looking to build a natural portfolio. So there was a number of brands going into this portfolio. And what was nice about it is we weren't going to leave. We were still going to run the company, and we were going to have financial resources and exponential services that we could all share to grow. And so it really seemed like a great way to insulate risk. Unfortunately, after we did the transaction, one of the founders faced legal and financial issues that resulted in the company losing all of their finances and tarnished their reputation. And so we had less than 24 hours to terminate our entire team that we had worked so hard to keep. And so we're sitting one day at the kitchen table, and we're crying, we're sad, we're devastated. And all of a sudden I pull out my lip balm and I realize I don't have that many lip balms left because production had stopped. And I looked to my mom and sister. I'm like, how much Green Goo do you have? And all of a sudden my sister's like, are we gonna have to start making this in our kitchen again? And I was like, let's buy it back. Maybe we can buy it back. And so it took us 18 months. It was not a quick process. And we lost everything in the transaction. So it was very much like bootstrapping to get it back. But we did.
That speaks a lot to your resilience and your belief in this product. And um, I'm curious. So coming from this, you were pre-med, but you also felt like we are a whole human being. We have this need to be looked at physically and mentally, emotionally. Um, I'm curious to know your definition of wellness. What does wellness mean to you?
That's a great question. So it has meant a lot of different things to me over the years. It used to be taking supplements, working out, and something as simple as that. And fast forward to today, I really look at wellness as bringing that psycho-neuro-immunology. It is a very much holistic quest for me. And I think of, okay, so we use a term in our house. It's called shaman. It's an acronym that we use. And I have a 14-year-old daughter, so it's very helpful in terms of thinking about how we can do wellness because you hear all of these things that are out there and you're like, how can I do all of these things? And how can I afford all of these things? Which makes it really tough. And so the acronym is shaman, and S is for sleep, making sure that we're always adding to the sleep bank. And especially for a teenager, that's important. But even as an adult, I'll push myself and I'll realize like I'm not feeling right. Like I need to go and invest in my sleep. H is for hydration. We are made of water. We need to be nurturing that. So it's not just, the water that we drink, but it's also avoiding the things that may pull water out of us or choosing foods that have hydration, choosing skincare that has hydration in it. And then A is antioxidants, and that helps us just when you open up the fridge, like, am I going to eat some carrots or am I going to open up a bag of chips? And maybe I'm going to have both, but at least I'm thinking about myself from an antioxidant standpoint. And I also think of that from skincare. So, like, Green Goo is made from whole plants. We still make it the same way we did when we were making it in our kitchen. And yes, our quest was to reinvent first aid, but it's really to educate around nutritional skincare. Our skin is not just the largest organ, it is rich in neurotransmitters, and it is our first signal to respond our immune system, our nervous system, our psychology. Like when you have inflammation, your you don't feel so good, or when you have stress, your cortisol goes up, and then it impacts your mindset. So thinking about it from that perspective of nutritional skincare. And then Emma's mindfulness and investing in more mindful moments throughout the day. There's a lot of evidence to show that mindfulness has a positive impact on your immune system, on your nervous system. So taking small moments throughout the day, 30 seconds, 2 minutes to like, I don't know, look at the clouds or take a couple deep breaths. And I used to think if you didn't meditate for 2 hours, you weren't going to get mindful moments. And the science shows you can just do a handful of minutes throughout the day. And then the next A in shaman is avoid. And I think that in my wellness journey, I didn't understand the value of avoiding things. It was always like I should be doing more. And there's a lot of value in avoiding ingredients, avoiding phthalates, parabens, petroleums, those things that are in skincare that are making our skin have to work harder and then impacting our whole wellness. Avoiding certain ingredients in your foods, avoiding situations, avoiding people. Sometimes you just like need to say no and it is okay. And then the last N is nature. And just nature has a way of just resetting everything. And so for us and our family, we'll use this acronym to help us on our wellness journey. And of course, that does include supplements. It does include exercise when I go out in nature. But it gives me a more holistic way to approach my wellness journey.
I love that. I love that acronym, the easy way it is to remember those things that really are important. And I love how thoughtful you have been about it, um, defining what each of those things mean for you and for your family. So thank you. Thank you for sharing that.
Thank you.
Another thing as I was reading the emails that we've had going back and forth, it touched on leadership. And I feel like in our homes and in our communities, we are leaders. We as women, we in the groups that we're a part of, um, how how has this company building and really the heart of it helped you set this better example of better ingredients, or being a leader in your home of like, hey, we can change these things, and in your community we can change this narrative around first aid products, around over-the-counter products.
Great question. So, leadership, there's sort of the core, and as I work my way out. So, with leadership, there's real clarity in terms of our mission and vision. Our mission is spread goodness, our vision is bringing forward time-honored traditions. Spreading goodness is not just spreading the good goo all over your body, but it's also spreading goodness with the people you encounter, your peers at work, opening the door for someone. It's a culture, it's a mindset. And bringing forward time honored traditions is protecting the integrity of our formulas and making sure that this old ancient wisdom that we continue to make with our products continues to be that way in our formulas for Green Goo. And we don't compromise that. So, like today, the cost to make these Green Goo products is way more than it was 10 years ago. Well, then we adjust our model. So maybe we don't sell to as many retailers so we can protect that margin so that we can still bring Green Goo to a price point where people can attain it. Bringing forward time-honored traditions is storytelling, and it's being here with you today. And so those things become sort of my anchor in how I decide to do things every day and build the business. But I think from a leadership standpoint, one of the values that I really like to instill in my team is I want my leadership to be positive dinner table talk at their team members' homes. And when you realize that you're not just a leader at work, when your team member goes home, they're talking about you at the kitchen table. If you are a toxic leader, they're taking that toxicity home to their house. And then that impacts their relationships with their partners, their parenting, and I want to have a positive halo. And so it's not just about, being nice and making those concessions. It's really about instilling a level of performance and integrity and and like honesty and trust. Like I think trust comes at the core of it because when you have trust, you can deal with the hard stuff. And when you have that creativity, like when there's trust, there's creativity, you can navigate problems and there's less judgment, then those people go home and they develop those skills and they bring that beauty home. And for me, that's really important.
Oh, I love that. Our our how we treat others doesn't just affect the people that we're in a relationship with. It definitely has a ripple effect. Okay, so as I was looking at the different products that you have, I was actually surprised at how many different sections there were. I don't know why I was surprised, but I feel like there is a good variety of products for all different ages and stages of life for specifics. So tell me about your best-selling products.
Our Green Goo First Aid is the one product that people know us most for. So this is your Neosporin topical antiseptic. However, it's also your first aid kit on the go. So it's really your Swiss Army knife for first aid. It's for cuts and scrapes, but bug bites, bee stings, poison ivy, chafing, sunburns, ingrown toenails, even lip balm. And so what's nice is you never have your first aid kit with you when you need it. And it's really convenient having this with you everywhere you go. It's also nice that you can clean out your first aid cabinet and not have 100 things that you don't need. It takes the sting and the itch out, slows down the bleeding, speeds up the healing. So it becomes a Band-Aid alternative as well. You can give it to your kids, you can give it to your dogs. Does not have neomycin, which is the active ingredient in Neosporin, and 25% of the people have an allergic reaction to that. So it's really utilitarian. Um, we also, the product that we sell the most is our skin repair. This was designed to be a burn and scar and after sun solution, but it has evolved into sort of your health and beauty Swiss Army knife go-to. So it is your anti-aging formula, but it is also your head to toe lotion. So we have a thing that we call Sanctuary Sunday, which is get out your skin repair salve or your pain relief now that we're learning more about inflammation and managing inflammation to help with mindset. But you put this on head to toe and you just put your bathrobe on and let your skin soak it up. Read a book, hang out with a friend, enjoy sitting on your porch. And after 30 minutes, get ready, and your skin and your mindset just feels so good.
Mm.
And again, you don't have to have 10 things. And so the idea is really to simplify your skincare routine.
Yeah, that's great. I love that you guys also have deodorant, chapstick or lip balm, face serum, sunscreen. You have products for babies and tattoo care, dry skin and aging. But this, excuse me, this first aid salve is kind of your bread and butter. When I was looking, I noticed some other products through Southern Butter, Ovamoon, and is it Farm Botanicals? Fam
Fan
Botanicals?
botanicals.
Fam
Yep.
Botanicals. So are those businesses that you've also built, or are these partners that they also sell products that you love and trust?
So Southern Butter we developed, and it was kind of interesting. It was our customers that were coming to us asking if they could use our Green Goo formulas for intimate purposes. And the first time we thought, okay, this is just strange. And then eventually friends and family came clean and they're like, we're kind of wondering too. And so my sister and I started looking at the sexual wellness space, and what we recognized was very similar parallels as the first aid, which is the natural consumer was willing to abandon their natural ethos because they thought that these ingredients were the only ones that would get the job done. And the conventional consumer not as interested with the ingredients. They wanted something that performed better. And when you look at this space, they're oftentimes made with paraben or silicone base that actually pulls moisture out of your skin. So you're not even getting the lubrication that you would like, but also it changes your skin when you're pulling the moisture out. And this is tissue that absorbs at a very high rate. So then you're also bringing in some very harmful phthalates, parabens, forever chemicals in a place where you're absorbing so quickly. And so it was really fun to bring our Green Goo innovation and bring these plants like calendula flowers that are antifungal, anti-yeast, antimicrobial, but then also tissue repair. And what you find is when you hydrate your tissue and you bring in repair properties, it actually increases sensitivity. So it's been a really fun, and we have great essential oils
Hmm.
that like get you in the mood. You know, everyone gets in the mood differently. So there's like sandalwood and cinnamon that's a little bit like warm and stimulating. We have rose and lavender that's more calming. We have an aphrodisiac. And so all these fun smells too that just kind of like heighten your experience, because scent stimulates your limbic system, which is your emotional side of your brain. And so it's like bringing in some of those positive essential oils. Um, Ova Moon and Fan Botanicals. So when we weren't sure we were going to be able to buy our company back, we thought, okay, what are some early stage brands that we feel that are synergistic to Green Goo, that if we do get Green Goo and Southern Butter back, that they won't get in the way, but they also very much complement. And so the same way we feel about skincare, we feel the same way Ova Moon is women's health. And so it's a plant-based women's health supplement for all phases and stages. So through menstruation, prenatal, and perimenopause. And what's fun and how that complements Green Goo too is your skin changes in those various times. And so when you can have, internal supplements that support women's health and also have the external nutritional skincare, you're just really leaning into your wellness journey. And I think women are often overlooked in the marketplace, because I went to the Buck Institute for Longevity, and they talked about women are like less than 10% sometimes in these clinical trials for these medications. And we respond differently. And we also have higher contraindications because we are different. Our bodies are built differently. And so leaning in with Ova Moon has been really fun in that journey. And then Fan Botanicals is this incredible luxury beauty formula that is a vitamin C serum that builds collagen, builds elasticity, deeply penetrates with the vitamin C. And so what I love to do is that we use our Green Goo oil face wash, follow up with the Fan Botanical serum, and then seal it in with the skin repair. And like, it's just heaven for your face. And it's 3 products. That's it. All you need. And it more than gets, it's so good.
I'll link all those websites in the show notes below, but are there places other than those websites that we can purchase these products or learn more about them?
Greengoo.com and Amazon are the best places to get the breadth of products. You'll see us sprinkled in retail, but we're mostly on our website and Amazon.
Okay, that's amazing. I really appreciated this conversation and your dedication and commitment to wellness and providing products that we can feel good about giving to our families and using on ourselves that actually do work better than the traditional, like what we're conditioned to believe will work. So thank you so much for your time today and for sharing. I'm gonna share the Shama acronym with my family as well. I really like that. So thank you, Jodi. Is there anything else that you feel like you want to share with us today with my audience?
Thank you for just creating a space to spread goodness. And yes, I just invite everyone to start that wellness journey. Start by avoiding the ingredients that don't serve you, and then add value with all the goodness that you can.
Thank you so much, Jodi. And I look forward to trying more of these products.
Thank you. Have a beautiful day.
Bye.